Oh, yeah. Okay. Now it can't be behind this, so we're going to need two. We need two bowls. So this is an experiment.
This is an experiment.
We're trying something out because we stumbled upon something.
We came upon something that I'm 30 now, and I've never met anybody
In your life.
In my life. And I've told a lot of people about this, and it's always that's weird. Why don't you'll choke.
Right.
You will choke
Right.
if you eat it that way.
Or people who are like, no, I like pretzels.
I like pretzels.
Yeah.
Oh, you like pretzels? Oh, I love pretzels.
I also like that.
I love dipping mine in chocolate. Nah, not
You.
a pretzel.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, that's
a
wrong.
no.
This is so fascinating. And if you guys have ever seen this, ever experienced this, this is what we stumbled on literally on New Year's Eve.
2021.
2021.
Yeah.
Coming into 2022.
Yes.
We saw that there was something different about us.
Yes.
And we were sitting up north in a little cabin up north. It was cold. It was getting ready to snow.
Getting ready to snow. And for the first time in my life, I heard you say, because my wife brought the snacks, and you said, these pretzels are amazing. Where did you get this? Now, I have said that in my life because I want to track down those pretzels. I've never heard anybody else say that, of like, I got to get these pretzels. Where are they from?
You said something to me that really shook my world because you said, I like to take the pretzel and I just crunch it a little bit.
Well, and because I said, I like pretzels. And you said, I like pretzels.
I like pretzels also.
And I said, I have a weird way of eating them.
And that triggered me to like,
what is your weird way to eat these?
I've always thought I was a freak.
Yes. And I said, and I grabbed a pretzel and I said, you bite it, you crunch it, you swallow it. That's it. So you're getting, I would say that the majority of the pieces are that big going down.
Yeah. This is totally unique and different than what you'll see with anybody else eating these. This is why this is a big deal and why we're trying this experiment right now, because we have a suspicion.
We do.
A sneaking suspicion. Your method of basically bite, crunch, chew,
bite, crunch,
swallow is something I have been doing for decades with pretzels.
Yeah.
You get a good bag of pretzels, you sit down, even on a road trip, I'll just pop a bag of pretzels on the center console, and you just do that while you're driving. And like you, I met so many people who were like, oh, I like pretzels, but definitely not
to this extent.
Definitely not to this extent.
To the point, because majority of people, because I'll say, how do you eat them? They go, well,
I just eat them. What's wrong with you? But there's definitely a specific way of going about this for us. This is the reason that we say pretzel fanatics, right?
Pretzel fanatics.
Because there's a specific way to do it that makes a lot of sense to us.
Yes. And it's not just like I do it for a reason of why I chew it that way and why you chew it that way.
Right.
Because I find that you get the most enjoyment. You get the most salt flavoring on it, the buttery flavoring on it, the little burnt ends.
Yes.
If you mash it up, it just becomes.
It's like any other snack. It's any other snack that becomes like a mulch in your mouth. Yeah, it's a saltine that you chew up and you swallow it. It's like, yeah, whatever. Okay, so this is what we want to invite you guys into. Billy and I spent New Year's Eve sitting, and like our wives were just serious eye rolls.
There's a lot of
major eye rolls because we have this very specific way of enjoying pretzels. That's what we want to take you guys into, I think.
Yes.
So, okay, we're kicking this one off with some Snyder's. I think you got the bag over there.
I got the bag. And then, you think of pretzels, Snyder's. You think of Snyder's.
Snyder's comes to mind right away. They're the pretzel guys. If you're going to stop at a gas station, you're on a road trip, it's going to be Snyder's.
It's going to be Snyder's. Yes. I think Snyder's, if I'm picking, Snyder's isn't my always go-to.
Okay, now, so talking about brands, okay, specifically. So Snyder's, we're kicking this off with some Snyder's because Snyder's are the best known ones, but when you talk about Snyder's, one of the biggest elements of a good pretzel is a really good pretzel.
And maybe we should define what kind of pretzels we're talking about.
How to define yourself as a fanatic versus the person that's just like, I like them.
Yes.
Right? And it's fine if they're with chocolate or they're with like nacho cheese
yogurt,
or whatever you're
nachos. Sure.
There are a few things, and you outlined them extraordinarily well. And I think, and this is totally hearsay, you're kind of OCD.
I am very OCD. I have high levels of OCD.
Yeah, in fact,
in my life.
So the studio we're sitting in right now is the Cigars Daily studio, where the humidor over my shoulder here is organized entirely by Billy, because I count on Billy's OCD to organize that. So for you, you have thought this through, and you can articulate it really well.
I can. So when I think of a pretzel, and when I say I love pretzels, I'm a fanatic about pretzels. I'm talking about this little guy right here, your mini hard twist. Now, I can enjoy a big, large, soft pretzel.
A soft pretzel's fine. It's a different
delicacy. You're not having it every single day.
Straight up.
You got to get it at a fair, a ballpark, that kind of thing. When I talk about it, I'm talking about this little guy. And when I go for my pretzels, this is what I'm going after. 1, because of the surface area. 2, because it allows me to do more bites with it. Whereas like a stick, you get like 1 bite, 2 bites.
2 bites.
Now you can get 3, 4 out of this if you want. And it gives me something to like work with.
Yes.
And the different bites give you a different taste. The taste up here is different from the taste down here, because the salt will get into these guys more than the salt gets into the bottom one.
Now, there's another element of this. To make a pretzel really good, it's got to have the right level of crunch, right?
Yes.
Like, that's a good snap right there. And I got to give this to Snyder's. Snyder's has got a great snap for their pretzel. Like, I can take this, I can crunch this a few times.
They're mini pretzels. They have a good snap. Mm-hmm. If you get into the rods, the rounds, not as good of a snap, more of a poof.
A poof.
A poof.
I mean, that's a problem.
That is a problem.
Because that comes with crumbles. That comes with all kinds of stuff that's not conducive to the Fanatic way of eating a pretzel.
No, you can't bite it, crunch it, swallow it when you get into that.
So Snyder ones are good. We're munching on the Snyder ones right now, but this is not the only way to go with pretzels.
No.
Let's dive into another type of pretzel and see what that has to offer. I'm going to take one out right here. We'll leave the bowls here. So what I've got it's weird. This era of pretzels that we're in, there's just so much out there.
There's a lot of
So
pretzels.
you see a lot of weird stuff. Like these right here are Snyder's rounds. And these are the butter ones. Yeah, the butter flavored.
Yep.
Okay, so let's talk about these really briefly.
Yeah. Throw some right there.
Yeah, I'll just drop some on the table right here. Rounds, buttery rounds.
Buttery rounds.
These are a little different take on your traditional pretzel, and there's a lot of different takes on a pretzel right now, and we just want to be very clear up front on what a pretzel is and what a pretzel isn't. Not that you can't enjoy them, but to me, this is not a pretzel.
It's not a pretzel. It's a pretzel flavored product, maybe. And these have, I don't know what Snyder's did if they put like a cube of butter in each one of these, but it's got the like butter flavor.
Right? Like, I think about popcorn, because popcorn comes with that butter flavoring. And certainly this has that very, very butter flavoring, but at the same time, I don't even want it in the bowl with the real mini twist, which is what an actual pretzel is. This does not qualify as a pretzel because you can't do what we do with this.
You bite it, it's gone.
And it basically crumbles into a mush in your mouth.
Because when you bite one of these, when you do it, I'm almost looking for a little bit of scratch down the throat.
Uh-huh.
If it doesn't full, not like kill you scratch.
You don't want to choke on it.
No, you don't want to choke on the thing, but you want a little bit of texture going down. And I find myself, I'm going towards these over these on the table.
All right, let's just take these. These are not pretzels to us.
They're not pretzels to us.
Now, there's more than one way to skin a cat, though. We got the Snyder's pretzels. We know they're good. They have a respectable amount of salt. We've talked now about the crunch that they have, that snap, that really nice snap. And the Snyder's ones definitely have that for sure. But you can do better. And I find that as you look around at different type of pretzels, you find these. This bag is mostly empty because I got into it on New Year's Day.
And so you like, Allison, Tim's wife,
my wife,
brought home 3 bags of pretzels for us. We ended up having to leave, so we couldn't get into it. And I remember looking at the bags and saying, these are going to be the optimal ones just from the picture and just from the little peek window that you have on there.
The peek window, for sure.
Because here's who is this?
This is Signature.
Signature Select.
Yeah.
Versus your Snyder.
The off-brand versus the
off-brand versus the Snyder brand. When you look at it, it's kind of hard to tell on this camera, but if you get it up close, you've got a lot more salt on that bad boy.
Salt per capita.
Salt per capita.
It's a
on this one.
big deal. It's
yes.
a big deal, and you can have too much salt. I think
you can. Not often, but you can.
You can.
But when you look at the Snyder, I mean, like your bottom rung, it has 0 salt granules on it.
Yeah, I mean, we literally can line these up next to each other and see this just impossible amount of salt on the generic store brand,
on
right?
the generic store brand
versus the Snyder ones that just don't have any kind of comparison.
And your Snyders are really shiny. They have like a shine to it, where your generic store brands, they don't have a shine to it.
Right. I'm going to take a picture of these so we can show them to people.
And that right there is what I'm looking for when I bite into a pretzel.
You're looking for a good, very salty mini twist with a nice crunch that gives you it gives a full palate feel.
Full palate feel.
Okay. So we spent New Year's Eve this year.
Yep.
Basically geeking out over pretzels, much to the chagrin of our wives.
Yes.
And what we discovered is that we both have this very unique way of looking at pretzels that we love. And we suspect that there are other people out there who feel the same way. So if you think about pretzels this way, if you think these things about pretzels, about the crunchiness, about crunch, bite, crunch, and swallow, this is something that is like, this channel is for you. We're making this just for you.
And you know what? Though I think my method, and I have spent a lot of time eating pretzels. And I remember my mom would get so mad at me because she'd bring home that like 5-pound bag of pretzels or 3-pound bag of pretzels.
Bro, yeah.
And when I was a kid, I would just go through it. And I could not stop myself from eating them because it just gets to... I was a fanatic. So quantity was never a problem. And I've spent time of perfecting the pretzel consuming, you could
Consumption,
say.
yeah,
but
for sure.
If you've got another way out there that you do it differently, because I like to think my way is the best, but maybe you've got a better way that you like to enjoy it, whatever that is, let us know what that is.
Everything that we talked about was so specific and such a mind blow, right? Like, right, there's like, you were like, yeah, I literally bite, I crunch, and I swallow. And I was like, me too. And then we talked about pretzel sticks. Yep. I was like, you put them sideways in your mouth and you crunch them, and actually crunch them twice. I crunch them once in the middle and then once on the sides. And then I've got like a bunch of pretzel daggers that I can just swallow.
Yep.
That are so salty and so good.
You put it perpendicular to your teeth and then you bite down so it gets stuck between your teeth. And then you break it with your tongue. And you were talking about doing the same thing.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Yep. And like how many you can get in there and like try and break. Because it gets tough once it gets in there.
The world of pretzels is massive. So we want to take you guys into it on this channel. It's an experiment, authentically. And I'm a little nervous about it.
Very nervous about it.
This is something that we only think is a thing because we stumbled upon each other having these incredibly specific views about how pretzels should be consumed and this really deep shared passion for pretzels.
Yes.
Okay. So maybe there are more people out there like that. And if there are, then this is the channel to subscribe to because we're going to take you into everything pretzels on this channel. Nobody else has done this. And it seems like lunacy to us at the very least.
To talk about a weird way to eat pretzels.
A weird way to eat pretzels. Drop it in the comments. Do you have a weird way that you eat pretzels? We are very interested to hear about it, and we're going to keep bringing some videos to you guys here and probably improve the studio. This is a cigar studio where I normally make content with Billy, and so this will be
cigars.
This will be less
Which
about
is
cigars.
regulated.
Yeah,
this
is not regulated. Since the very first day I got into cigars on YouTube, I was like, man, I wish I could get into a product that's not regulated. This right here.
Here it is.
Everything I've always loved has started with an A, a T, or an F. It turns out P was the magic letter.
P was the magic letter.
All right, guys, we're going to keep being pretzel fanatics, and we hope you guys will join us.